a long time back जब हम सोचते थे कि एक बहुत बड़ा शो आ जाएगा, बहुत बड़ी फिल्म आ जाएगी. And then when a 2 comes, you assume that everything is superb, it's fantastic. Because 2 means people want to watch a lot more of it. These days, sequels and the 3s and the 4 start coming out. But it's fantastic because I love this time, you know, you can see actors in an avatar that they just get to experiment so much. And so many that have changed like the way people perceive them because of the kind of, you know, characters that they do. And I love the fact that, you know, all the audiences that are watching all these shows also, वो कहते हैं कि भाई ये उसकी तरह है, ये उसकी तरह है. So yes, ये काली काली आंखें season 2 comes in, the entire cast, and I'm so happy to see, well, a new addition as well. Gurmeet, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Arunoday, brother, nice to meet you again, and still always 6'7" tall, and he's like this big. Did you ever think about bodybuilding, brother?
No, I'm too lazy.
Yeah, that's the only reason, is
That's
it?
the only reason. What's the point?
But fantastic. Tahir, good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
It's been a while, and Shweta, nice to meet you. Anchal, we're meeting for the first time, but yeah, Salil, there we go from afar. But season 2 must be really good, how should I say, a pat on the back. You know, people said, and I love this review that one user, you know, a Reddit user wrote, ये season 1 है Ozark और Breaking Bad का combination.
Wow.
I said, bas, that's all.
Yeah.
Heart to the user.
Heart to the Reddit user.
Did you all feel this when you all were doing
now.
it? And you know, you sort of, those are 2 iconic shows, you know, like perhaps the greatest of all time that people actually talk about. So when you have a season 2 coming in, what's the thought in your mind first? Can we did well? Because there's no box office, there's no Fridays and Mondays. So just your thoughts, the 4 that are now in season 2. Yeah, we start with you.
It's intangible. You're right. There's no box office, but there's something that just tells you that okay, we're on track. And I think all of us very tangibly felt that, especially because we released season 1 in the middle of an Omicron lockdown. And so, you know, there was no way to be out there on the street. All of our interactions were on Zoom. So it was just through what we were reading and through Reddit users like the one that you just mentioned. That's a very big comparison, and I'm really like flattered and humbled as the most the cast. But I think one of the reasons why they might see that parallel is because Breaking Bad especially is somewhere where with every episode the character changes. He goes into a darker space, and as a result everyone in his family, his partner get affected. And
he's not very expressive about it a long time, which is essentially what your character's always like as well.
And it's talking about Ye Kaali Kaali Aankhein, it's a good guy in a bad circumstance. And if season 1 was what he had to do out of compulsion, season 2 are the repercussions of those decisions. So again, we were happy with what we had done in season 1. There was zero expectations from my end, and it's always overwhelming when something does 4 times better than what you expected. And I just hope people watch season 2, because for me, on paper, it's a fantastic sequel, but also just as a standalone experience.
But the expectations always rise, you know. They were so impressed with you, Anchal, you know, and you come in there and, you know, holding your own in a scene, you know, delivering exactly what maybe the makers thought, or maybe you're taking it to 10 notches higher, but उसके बाद लोगों की expectations बढ़ जाती हैं. So season 1 to he's quite a seasoned campaigner. You know, when you come into a season 2, are you checking DMs constantly? Are you checking what people are writing below the trailer, saying that, oh my God, this is what they expect of me? Now there's suddenly pressure. It's the 4th day of a test match now, no longer the 1st day of a test match.
See, the validation is always great, but you can't work for it, because the moment you work for it, your creativity stops right there. So it's, as you said, very flattering when people compare our show to such amazing ones and they look forward to season 2. But we, as actors, I think we all work as if this is our first. I mean, you don't think कि अभी first ये इतना अच्छा तो second man need to add and do this. So the script is already doing that for us. And I think expectations are good, because that means that they are waiting for you. And in season 1, they had, it was like a blank canvas. When they saw me, they did not know where this character could go and move along. So rather for me right now, it's very interesting now that they know Purva, how can she be more unpredictable now? And hopefully people, the audience should be like, अच्छा ये तो हमने सोचा ही नहीं था.
Actually, आप लोगों को देख के किसी ने सोचा ही नहीं था कि आप ये characters कर सकते हैं. You know, we were just chatting off camera. Sometimes those are the funnest chats. अरुणोदय को देख करके मुझे लगता है कि दुनिया का सबसे misunderstood आदमी है. because
I
you're
think
like,
Arunoday को खुद भी वो लगता है.
It was a constant struggle. Thank you, Tahir.
and
You see me.
how can I have him here and not talk about the fact that he's the most popular meme of the last 2 years? You know, when everyone will speak to him and they want to say and abuse also. But brother, you are actually the biggest stalwart. हम सबसे पहले you actually came on the big screen and you know you had an amazing journey.
I've been at it for a while.
Yeah, and you've been appreciated for a while.
Well, thank you.
But somehow you also seem like you want to have 50% here and 50% of your own life also. ऐसा है सच?
I mean, it would be wonderful if things changed and got like increasingly, dramatically more successful. But it wouldn't change me much. I'd still want my own space.
Yeah.
I like my own thing. Don't want to change who I am.
I remember in the bylanes of Bandra, he was roaming around in his Jeep. He used to have a Jeep at that time, long time
correct,
back.
yeah.
And I used to say, यार ये बहुत अलग तरीका है Bollywood actors का. या he was always very different. Do you think that's gone against you? This is a great performance, of course, you know, even in one, and now a lot of expectancy there. But do you think now you're sort of saying कि यार इस Arunoday 2.0 में मेरे को थोड़ा और serious दिखना चाहिए लोगों के लिए?
I'm about at 12.0 by now. No, you try to do the best you can. You get the work that you get, and you try to choose the best things that you can do. And the rest of it is, I mean, you can't control any of it. So the expectations and all the rest of it, I'm happy to be well employed. I don't worry about that shit.
I like that word, well employed. Employment की दुकान तो ये है.
अरे क्या
जब देखे भाई
ये आ जाती है.
ये
आ जाती है,
इनकी
आ
breaks जो
आ भी
है,
जाती है, right?
इनकी breaks जो है, I love it, you know, and I've said this so many times to Shweta also that you know बहुत लोगों का stereotype दिमाग में जो होता है लोगों का वो OTT platform में जब टूटा, she was one of the first pioneers of doing that. कि क्या ये टाइप के लुकिंग लोग, ये टाइप के एक्टर्स ऐसे टाइप के रोल्स कर सकते हैं? आई स्टिल से यू जस्ट फैंटास्टिक, यू बीन एक्सप्लोरिंग सो मेनी डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ रोल्स आल्सो. बट ये दिस इज वेरी डार्क आल्सो. यू डन डार्क अ लॉट, ऑफ कोर्स. डार्क ह्यूमर इज लाइक यू ओनली, बट दिस इज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक a different kind of dark humor. There's a little bit of the romance also in it. Can you get bored sometimes on a set if you say that it's more or less the same, you know?
I won't do the project if I
Yeah.
think that I'll get bored, because I go on set or I attach myself to a project because to have fun.
Yeah.
That for me is very important. Obviously, everybody says script and what the character arc and journey is, and obviously that is priority. Also, the people that you're working with.
Yeah.
Because when you work with people like Siddharth Sen Gupta or the other Gurmeet, even this Gurmeet, it is Abhishek Sen Gupta, Shlok Sharma, Neeraj. The list is just endless, and I'm very thankful that I have worked with really kind people. जिनकी जो दुनिया जिस तरह से देखते हैं वो उनकी हैंड राइटिंग है.
Correct.
वो कहीं ये नहीं हो रहा है कि कहीं मिक्स हो रहा है. So when in fact काली काली आंखें, Shikha is very different from any of the other characters I've played and very different from me. So I love playing Shikha because the thing is there is no darkness inside her yet. That is what I enjoy. That in fact she's a very good girl who believes in goodness in people. She likes to believe in the world around her. She wants to trust. Her moral compass is very strong. अब ना उसने तो डिज्नी दुनिया इमेजिन की हुई है. अब मजा वही आता है कि वहाँ पे सिद्धार्थ सेन गुप्ता का ट्विस्ट आ चुका है. That is what I like. In fact, जब मुझे कॉल शीट भी मिलती थी and you see your scenes, and जब भी शिखा आती है, the emotions are so high.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. कि इस लड़की की दुनिया में मतलब प्यार 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 यही है, and that is what is driving her. So I really look forward to that feeling of longing, pain, loss that she has because of, okay, I think this is one of the worst things, that you love somebody but you can't be together, and then he's married to somebody else and then you're married to somebody else. What are you supposed to do?
It's
Are
actually-
you not supposed to feel for the person?
It's like real society these days. Fiction is no longer stranger than fact. It is the reality only now. But it's true. I think that's why it's beautifully interwoven also. And I'm so proud of this guy over there. You know, I've known him for the longest time, Gurmeet. I think he's done actually अगर करियर अगर आप देखें तो भाई आप तो भगवान के साथ आपने स्टार्ट किया था. He was Ram Sita. That's how he started, and after that he's always been so brilliant with his action. And you know, we've spoken about it so many times also. You really take हर दिन बहुत सीरियसली यार गुरमीत, ये मुझे बहुत पसंद है. बिकॉज बहुत सारे एक्टर्स क्या है ना, कई बार अपनी स्टारडम या काम को थोड़ा सा फॉर ग्रांटेड ले लेते हैं, एंड दे डू इट, बट उतनी शिद्दत से नहीं करते जैसे मतलब आप एक स्टंट के लिए भी ना घर पे 4 बार वो स्टंट का रिवीजन चल रहा होगा, फिर हम लोग देख रहे होंगे इंस्टाग्राम पर, अच्छा ये होने वाला है उसके बाद, एंड यू टेक अ लॉट ऑफ रिस्क्स आल्सो यार, सो दिस इज फैंटास्टिक, गुड टू सी यू बैक इन एक्शन आल्सो. बीच में थोड़ा सा गैप रहा था, यू केम बैक विद अनदर शो आल्सो एंड नाउ हियर आल्सो. यहाँ पे एक फैमिली के अंदर एंट्री कैसे हुई तुम्हारी, मतलब ठीक ठाक फर्स्ट डे कैसा था इनके साथ में? ये तो एक
फर्स्ट डे
We beat him. We tried. He knows martial arts. We tried.
एक्शन करेगा.
We dropped heavy stones on him.
यार मेरे लिए ना बड़ा डिफिकल्ट था क्योंकि सीजन 1 ऑलरेडी बहुत हिट था और एक्साइटमेंट ये था कि यार लो चलती हुई गाड़ी में हर कोई कूदना चाहता है.
Correct.
तो मेरे ये दिमाग में था कि जब ट्रेन में आप बैठते हो पहले गमछा फेंक दो, फिर थोड़ा बैठते हो, फिर थोड़ा बाजू वाले को हटाते हो, फिर लेट जाते हो. तो लेकिन गमछा फेंकने के लिए ना बहुत क्राउड के बीच में आना पड़ता है, तो वहाँ तक पहुँचना बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट होता है यार. बट जब आप ऐसे शो करते हो, और नेटफ्लिक्स का मैं हमेशा फ़ैन रहा हूँ, तो मेरे लिए एक बहुत बड़ी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी थी कि यार मैं आऊँगा, यार इनके धुरंधर सारे एक्टर्स हैं, सबने अपना काम दिखा चुके हैं, सीजन 1 बड़ा हिट है, मैं उसमें फिट होऊंगा कि नहीं होऊंगा.
थोड़ा कई बार टेंडेंसी होती है ज्यादा करने के लिए, क्योंकि वो होता है ना कि मंझे हुए एक ग्रुप के साथ आप आ रहे हो जो ऑलरेडी काफी समय एक साथ बिता चुके हैं, तो पहले जो 10 दिन होते हैं तो उसमें थोड़ा ज्यादा करने की कई बार वो थोड़ा हो जाता है ना, लेट मी शो लिटिल बिट मोर.
नहीं यार ऐसा नहीं होता. हमारे जो डायरेक्टर सिद्धार्थ सर, वो उनको पता है, उन्होंने जब मुझे कास्ट किया तो सबसे पहले उन्होंने एक दिन मेरा 2-4 दिन उन्होंने मेरा सारा काम देखा. फिर एक दिन मुझे कॉल किया, गुरमीत मैंने तेरा सारा काम दिया. मैंने अरे यार अभी सर कैसा, मतलब ठीक ठाक, हाँ तू टेंशन मत ले और हम लोग ऐसा करने वाले. तो उन्होंने एक्चुअली मेरे ऊपर बहुत ध्यान दिया कि हेयर स्टाइल क्या होगा, लुक क्या होगा, वर्कशॉप कराया. फिर जब डे 1 में मैं आया और मुझे लगा कि फर्स्ट डे होगा, थोड़ा इंट्रो होगा, थोड़ा ऐसे हम करते आए हुए हैं, और डे 1 सबसे बड़े सीन्स थे मेरे. और ये सारे लोग थे, तो मेरी ऐसी
पीट रहे थे तेरे को?
नहीं पीट नहीं थे, सब मेरी फटी बड़ी थी क्योंकि डायलॉग बाजी थी, और आपको फर्स्ट डे थोड़ा टाइम लगता है, और यहाँ पे सब एक दूसरे को जानते थे. कैमरामैन से लेके स्पॉट बॉय से लेके हर कोई सीजन 1 में साथ में काम कर चुका था. मैं एकदम नया घुसा था. बट हाँ, डे 1 थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट था समझने में, लेकिन डे 2 से ठीक ठाक काम होने लगा. यार मैंने एंजॉय किया. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि मुझे अच्छे दोस्त, अच्छी फैमिली यहाँ पे मिली, एक अच्छा शो मिला, एक अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म मिला. बस इसमें अपना मैंने बेस्ट दिया यार. मैंने 1000% डाला. जो भी है सब कुछ रियल है, और मुझे लगता है ये जो 2-3 महीने थे इसमें, इस किरदार में मैं काफ़ी घुसा हुआ था, लगा हुआ था, सोच में था कि मुझे अपना बेस्ट देना है.
और दिख ही रहा है, मैं तो बिहाइंड द सीन्स भी थोड़ा सा देख लिया है. You know, Tahir, there's a lot of discussion always when you have a season 2 and 3 coming, because you have to pick up the same key of the character. आपका वो कैरेक्टर वैसा क्या था, ग्राफ बेशक इससे थोड़ा आगे जा रहा है, और गैप जब हो जाता है, इज दैट टैक्सिंग? हालांकि लीनियर शूट नहीं करते, मतलब कि मैं आपको समझाता हूँ कि हर एक सीन के बाद दूसरा सीन, दूसरे के बाद तीसरा, ऐसा शूटिंग नहीं होता है, अलग अलग तरीके से शूटिंग होती है. बट डज इट टेक अ फ्यू डेज टू गेट बैक इन, या फिर वो दोबारा एक दिन का एक रिहर्सल वाला सीन भी होता है?
First day, the hangover of the expectations of season 1 are definitely there. मतलब मैं सच बोलूँ तो थोड़ी फटी हुई थी first day पर, but then I realized by the second day कि अगर उस stress को आप छोड़ ना दो, you're never going to be able to approach this and give it the due that it deserves. पर अगर मुझे analogy करनी हो तो it's like meeting an old friend who you haven't spoken to in 2 years. Like your character is an old friend, and अगर आप 2 साल बात भी नहीं करते हैं, you can always pick up where you left off. And so the minute you're reading the script, you wear the costume. I write a lot when I'm preparing for a character, even if a backstory isn't mentioned in the script. It's something that I'll write and journal and go through. So you read those notes. So it would be like an architect seeing the blueprint before he goes into. So there's a lot of that. But then it's also the physical thing of like meeting all of them again, seeing like he said, from the spot boy to the camera person to the light boys, were 80% of them were similar, were the same as season 1. So just being in that environment takes you back in Vikrant's shoes.
You know, when they used to say a lot of the times when you make remakes of films, बहुत सारे actors को बोला जाता था don't see the original, क्योंकि हम चाहते हैं कि आपका एक अलग version निकल आए. When you come back into a character like this, would you do a refresher course of season 1 again? Did you?
I did, and honestly, when I saw it, I was. I
you were
really
fantastic in it,
no,
by the
I did not. I did not
That's
see
why
it.
she paused just now.
So we can say yes, you were.
Yes, you were.
Thank
Everybody
you.
clap for her.
I've got to say this, you were the surprise package.
Thank
yeah,
you.
because of course.
Thank you so much.
And she did it on very short notice, just to like, as in she was one of the last to be cast and like did it. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way it is. दरवाजा थोड़ा सा खुलता है उसमें फिर 6 मारना होता है.
Thank you so much. But I remember after the release of season 1, when I saw it, I was feeling so many things at the time, and whenever I used to see the scenes, I used to know so much behind the scenes that I couldn't actually really watch the series 1 and enjoy like an audience.
Correct,
For a long time. So after we knew like our season 2 will start soon, that's the time when I actually saw it and I was like, wow, these characters
Wow at yourself
are
or
amazing.
at the show?
Both.
Why not? I'm glad you asked this question.
No,
So that some Reddit
first
user is
for
not-
the director, writer, Sir Siddharth sir, and of course everybody was so good. And when I was filming, I remember I used to feel ki, how can Vikrant not love me? I just, my life is him, and why is Shikha coming in between? I don't like that, It used to affect me. But when I saw the series, I was like, oh God, poor Vikrant.
Yeah.
And poor Shikha?
No, you're still happy.
No, you're still, why are you doing that?
No, I was getting angry also at a point because I used to feel ki, why is he cheating on the both of us? He's married to me now, like he shouldn't be. So I had real emotions when I saw
Wow,
it. So when I stepped into season 2, the shooting bit, the prep of Purvaish feeling was there, and I was happy to have her again in my life. Very grateful.
Did you do a refresher course?
No.
No? Are you, so there are a lot of actors that go with the flow. कई बार वो आ जाते हैं और वो बोलते हैं कि मुझे basic पता है.
Yeah.
I remember 80% of it.
Yeah.
Let's just go, director तो है ही, script तो है ही, let's just go with the flow.
I'm not one of those either, but the refresher course it's not as extensive because the first season I showed up for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I didn't work as hard as any of them.
Yeah.
I was there for a second, killed a couple of people and hooked off.
He makes it sound very simple.
Yeah.
I did.
Exactly.
It didn't take much.
Yeah.
So the actual character study and work on it, although I had done a little bit for what little bit that I had in the first season, I had more things to explore this season, which was fun. So I actually hadn't even taken the class yet. This season was my actual study.
Does physicality become, I remember speaking to Nawaz, I used to chat a lot with also, and he used to say that, मेरे को कभी life में body बनानी नहीं है सलील, because, वो मेरे को restrict कर देगा. मैं बहुत सारी चीजें जो करना चाहता हूँ, मैं ये कर नहीं सकता हूँ. A lot of actors that have a physical appearance, they get, restricted in the roles. Women that have a certain look also get restricted in certain roles. Do you think that happens with you also?
I think it happens with all of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm large, so you can't really cast me as anything.
Yeah.
So it limits just the scope of that, and most people my size in Bollywood are usually not very nice.
And they're villains, yeah.
And they're villains,
But considering that
That's
three
all
of you
right.
here, you all have
It's
played
good to be
extensive villains, yeah. All three of you have played extensive villains. ऐसा नहीं कि हर बार सिर्फ hero. Your other entry was as a villain also.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy the darker shades more? Because ये तो, I feel a lot of OTT is dark. Well, now almost 70%. It started very dark.
80-90%.
Yeah.
है ना?
It's not sanitized, I feel.
मतलब मैं कोई हैप्पीनेस हम लोग पहले अगर स्विस एल्प्स की बात करते थे उसकी बात करते थे फिल्मों में मैं तो कभी नहीं देखता मतलब यहाँ थोड़ा सा मनाली दिख रहा है मतलब जो मुझे बट अदरवाइज इन ओटीटी वी डोंट गो इनटू द वाइट जोन एवर व्हाई इज एवरी राइटर
I think high drama comes in areas of grey a lot more. If everything was whitewashed, people invest in characters and in stories which are way more higher drama than ordinary boring life, and that's what makes it interesting. And you were talking about like debuts and all. I honestly, and I'm not just saying this now, but always saw those characters as anti-heroes rather than I feel like villains or antagonists. Then very quickly, even in the mind of the audience, you get like पान स्टेन टीथ और एक आपका ऐसा शॉट होगा रिंग के साथ कि उस आदमी को पकड़ के लाओ. So there's none of that. It's like even when I was cast for Mardani, it was like you're the boy next door. Like you could be someone's boyfriend or brother or whatever, but it just happens to be that the business you run is on the other side of the law. And I think that's an interesting way to look at it because one of my favorite quotes about antagonists is it's never good versus bad, it's always good versus good. Because you ask even who in your mind is the worst person, he'll have a logical justification in his own mind. You just an example, you talk to an Osama bin Laden back in the day and he'll have a logic. This doesn't, I'm not morally justifying anyone, but it's just that everyone has their reason. if you watch Joker before Dark Knight,
Yes.
you'll sympathize with the Joker.
रावण, by the way, I don't know people know this, एक बहुत बड़ी शो बनी थी रावण पर जहाँ पे उनको एक डेमी गॉड माना गया था कि it came on one of the very popular television shows. It didn't run because people didn't like it, but it was a very very different depiction of Ravan. हमारे जो मतलब राम सीता और रावण, you know, they had it's an incredible show. You should actually watch it. कभी YouTube पर जाके देख लेना. And this is exactly that, how he sacrificed himself for the greater good of the world, and that's why he went to Patal Lok. That is actually documented somewhere. Here, none of them are Ravan over here. They're all rocking it, and congratulations on season 2. You're a veteran of many seasons. बहुत सारे आते रहते हैं, दो चार.
Veteran of many seasons.
Many seasons. Just before we go, is it nice to sort of do a new paycheck on the season 2? Does it always work like that with the incremental paychecks?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Increments are lovely.
Yeah,
We live
depends
for
on
increments.
what the increment is.
अच्छा. आप तो नए आए, आप तो बाहरी वो लेके आए होगे.
मैं सीजन 3 के लिए इंतजार कर रहा हूँ.
अच्छा.
हम सब.
फिर बात
Substantial
करेंगे.
increment.
I'll see you all soon. Great cast as usual, and of course, very loved show. I think लोग पहले कई बार सिनेमा देखते थे और वो थोड़े डिसअपॉइंट हो जाते थे परफॉर्मेंसेस के साथ, बोलते थे थोड़ा एंटी क्लाइमैक्स है. सीरीज ने हम सबको एक बहुत लंबा एक आर्क दे दिया हर एक कैरेक्टर का. यहाँ पे आज मैं 5 लोगों से बात कर सकता हूँ, 5 लोग के बहुत अच्छे कैरेक्टर्स हैं. ऐसे फिल्मों में बहुत कम मिलने को होता था पहले. एंड आई थिंक दैट्स वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट गेन्स ऑफ सीरीज एंड यू नो ऑल दीज OTT streaming platforms. So till we meet again, take care and I'll see you soon. This is Salil signing out.